Pleasant day, Dr. Craig Lifoyho and my fellow classmates. This is my report about qualitative research in Chapter 13. Qualitative research defined as a market research method that focuses on gathering and acquiring data through open-ended conversational communication. Specifically, it is not only about what people think but also why the people think so. Qualitative research is based on the disciplines of social sciences like sociology, physiology, and anthropology. So I'm going to touch about sociology, physiology, and anthropology. Sociology is study of human social relationship and institutions. Sociology's subject matter is diverse, ranging from crime to the religion, the family to the state, from divisions of race and social class to the shared beliefs of a common culture, and from social stability to radical change in whole societies. Unifying the study of this diverse subject of study in sociology's purpose of understanding how people action and consciousness both shape and are shaped by surroundings, cultural and social structures. Psychology is a scientific discipline that studies mental states and processes of and behavior in human and other animals. Next is the anthropology. It's the study of people throughout the world, their evolutionary history, how they behave, adapt to different environments, communicate and socialize with one another. The study of anthropology is concerned both with biological features that make us human, such as physiology, genetic makeup, nutritional history, and evolution, and with the social aspects such as language, cultural, political, and family, and even religion. So example, a convenience store is being considered as an example here. The owner is trying to improve the patronage, so they conducted a systematic observation. The conclusion is that the number of men visiting is more than of women. So they use one good method to determine why women are not visiting the store. So one good method is to conduct an in-depth interview of potential customers in the category. On successfully interviewing female customers, visiting the nearby stores and malls, and selecting them in random sampling, it was discovered that the store does not have plenty items for ladies, so there were fewer women who dropped by to shop. It can be understood only by personal interaction with them and understanding why they did not visit the store, for the reason that the store was selling products for men than of women. So the qualitative research method allowed for an in-depth and further probing and questioning respondents based on the responses, wherein the researcher also tries to understand their motivation and feelings. Understanding how audience take decisions can help derive conclusions in market research. Its result in descriptive and inferences can be drawn quite easily from the data that is obtained. It originated in the social and behavioral sciences. At present, the world is more complicated and difficult to understand what people think and perceive. The online qualitative research method make it easier to understand as it is more communicative and descriptive. Frequently used qualitative research method. Number one is one-on-one interview method. The most common qualitative research method. It's a personal interview with one respondent at a time. A conversational method that allows the researcher to get details in depth from the respondent, and the data collected here are precise about the respondent's beliefs and their motivation. In this method, if the researcher is well experienced, then he make follow-up questions which could help gather more data or meaningful data. This can be done in half an hour to 2 hours or more in face-to-face. If the interview is face-to-face, it allows the researcher to read the body language of the respondent and match it with the responses. It can be done also through a phone interview. Number 2 is focus groups. On the commonly used qualitative research method used in data collection, the respondents here are limited to 6 to 10% from target market to answer the why, what, and how questions is the aim of this method. You don't need to interact with the group in person. As a researcher, I can send surveys online and the responses can be collected in the same way. This method is very useful when it comes to market research on new products and testing new concepts. It is more expensive method as compared to other online qualitative research methods. They were used in explaining complex process. Number 3 is ethnographic research. Is the most in-depth observation method that study people in their naturally occurring environment. It will require researcher to adapt to the target audience's environment, which can be anywhere from the organization to a city or remote area. The geographical constraints can be an issue while collecting data. This type of research can take a few days to few years since it involves in-depth observation and collection of data on those grounds. Very challenging and time-consuming method. It depends on the expertise of the researcher to be able to analyze and observe and infer the data. Number 4 is case study research. It evolves over the past few years and developed into a valuable qualitative research method. It is used for explaining an organization or an entity. This type of research method is used in a number of areas like education, social science, and similar. It looks difficult to operate, but it's the most simplest way of conducting research as it involves a deep dive and thorough understanding of data collection methods and interpreting the data. Number 5 is record keeping. This method makes use of already existing reliable documents and similar sources of information as a source of data. This data can be used in a new research. It's similar to going to library. One can go over books and other reference materials to gather relevant data that can be likely used in research. Number 6, process of observation. Qualitative observation is a process of research that uses subject methodologies to gather systematic information. The focus of qualitative observation is the research process of using subjective methodologies to gather data. It is used to equate quality differences. It deals with 5 major sensory organs and their functioning: sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing. This doesn't involve measurements or numbers, but instead characteristics. Qualitative research, data collection and analysis. Qualitative data collection allows collecting data that is non-numeric and help us to explore how decisions are made and provide us with detailed insight reaching the conclusion. The data collected should be holistic, rich, and nuanced, and finding in to emerge through a careful analysis. Whatever method, number one, whatever method of a researcher chooses for collecting qualitative data, one aspect is clear that the process will generate a large amount of data. In addition to wide variety of methods available, there are also different methods of collecting and recording of data. Example, in the qualitative data is collected through a focus group or one-on-one discussion. There will be handwritten notes or video recorded tapes. If there are recordings, they should be transcribed before the process of data analysis can begin. Number two, a rough guide. It can be a seasoned researcher, 8 to 10 hours to transcribe the recordings of an interview, which can generate roughly 20 to 30 pages of dialogues. Many researchers also like to maintain the recordings collected from the different focus groups. It helps them compartmentalize the data collected. In the case there are running notes taken, which are also known as field notes. They are helpful in maintaining comments. Environmental context can be compared while transcribing audio recorded data. It is considered as informal notes but should be secured in similar manner as the video recordings or audio tapes. B. Qualitative data analysis such as notes, videos, audio recordings, images, and text documents. One of the most used methods for qualitative research is the text analysis. Text analysis is a data analysis method that is distinctly different from qualitative research method, where researchers analyze the social life of participants of the research study and decode the words, actions, and etc. Images also are being used in this research study, and the researcher analyzes the context of the images and use and draw inference from them. In the last decade, text analysis through what is shared on social media platforms has gained supreme popularity. Okay, next is the characteristic of qualitative research methods. Number one, they collect data at a glance in a real time where participants are experiencing problems. So here, the participants are rarely brought out from the geographical location to collect the information. So the researcher will go to the place where they are going to conduct the research, with the respondents. The place of the respondents. Number two, researchers collect the data in different forms such as interviews, observations, and documents. Okay, the researcher here don't rely on a single data source. Number three, works towards solving complex issues by breaking down into meaningful inferences that area easy to read and understand for everyone. So you're going to use the language that is being used by the respondents. Allow people to build trust on the researcher so the information obtained is raw and unadulterated. It's more on a communicative method. Qualitative research method case study. A bookstore owner is an example here. She's looking for ways to improve their sales and customers outreach. The online community of members of bookstore The online community of members of bookstore who were loyal patrons were interviewed and related questions were asked and the questions were answered. At the end of the interview, it was realized that most of the books in the stores were suitable for adults, and there were not enough options for children or teenagers. So, By conducting a qualitative research, the bookstore owner realized that the shortcomings were and what were the feelings of the readers. With this, the bookstore can now keep books for different age categories and can improve sales and customers outreach. The example mentioned is the qualitative research method can serve as basis for to indulge in further qualitative research that can provide remedies. When to use qualitative research? When they need to capture accurate, in-depth insights is useful to capture factual data. Okay. Number one here is developing a new product or generating an idea. Next is studying your product or brand or even service to strengthen your marketing strategy. To understand your strengths and weaknesses. Next is understand purchase behavior. To study the reaction of your audience to marketing campaigns and other communications. Next is exploring market demographics, segments, and customer care groups. Gathering perception data of a brand, company, and products. That's all about my report. Thank you for watching and God bless us all.